Welcome to everybody and welcome to Chizuk at work. Chazde Hashem. Baruch Hashem, got it right. Okay, so somebody asked a question a couple of days ago. We were speaking about the nakuda of wealth and how it seems that wealth is very much about doing. And I gave this person an answer based on an article I wrote. When was this written? This was written 2018, and I believe it gives us something to think about. You know, when we share something, whether it gives all of the answers or whether it gives us some of the answers, but sometimes the fact that it could lead into a conversation is important. So again, the question for this person, it seems to be, when we're dealing with Parnassah, and when we're dealing with ashirut, when we're dealing with money, it's always doing. Is that true? If we look at the wisdom of the Torah and we look at the etymology of the words that are used, we actually are communicated a very, very beautiful message. And this message is definitely, it takes effort. It takes effort to share what I'm going to share with you in actuality. It takes contemplation. But the fact is, we see that in the words of Chazal, it's not just about doing. And that's something very important to take into consideration. So for example, we started off with the word ashirut. We played around with the word ashirut, and that's what I'm going to share with you. But you see this in the etymology of other words as well. In Pirkei Avos, in the 4th chapter, 1st pasuk, we read, Ezehu ashir samech bechelkai. Ashir, this word ashirut, is used in context to samech bechelkai, which very much is to do with being present. How am I ever going to be samech with what I have when I'm present? So that's something very interesting to think about. Yet, it doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. Because when we are speaking as well about wealth, in Pirkei Avos, in the second parak 9 Mishnah, we say, Ra'es as hanoilad, which is to do with wisdom. Who is wise? Somebody who sees what's going to be born. Well, what's the connection between ashirut and seeing what's going to be born? Well, the Sfarim HaKadoshim speak about how you can break up ashirut in ayin, yashar. Ayin is wisdom, and we know, for example, from the Gemara in Sanhedrin Lamed Vav, that ayin is to do with wisdom. The Sanhedrin is to do with the wisdom. So we have this in a kudur of wisdom, ayin, yashar. Yashar is yediyah shmir re'iyah, as the Jikafa brings. Yashar is being aligned, being straight, which it's this idea of being present. Ezehu ashir samech bechelkai. But ashir, the idea of the ayin of the rest of the word, is to do with wisdom and seeing what can be born out of any situation. So what ashir becomes, etymologically, it's a word communicating that wisdom is very much about seeing what can come around. Yet yashar is to do with being present. So when you put both words together, ezehu ashir, somebody who's rich is a person that can, number one, be involved in planning. And we know that the world of wealth is very much to do with planning. The world of wealth is very much to do with thinking out what can come around. The world of wealth is very much to do with being in activism. So we've got the world of wealth, which is connected to wisdom, ayin, and activism, bringing around, seeing something that will be born. Yet, on the other hand, ashirut is to do with being present. It's to do with being present. It's to do with samech bechelkai. And this is a very, very important message for us, because you've got a divine partnership, and the divine partnership includes these two pulses, the pulse of presence and the pulse of being an activist. And as we said, sometimes it could very easily be missed. We could very easily be in a world that's very much to do with, it says in Bereshis, 3rd Perek, 19 Pasuk, by the sweat of your brow you will eat bread. So we can have that side of making Parnassah. That side of making Parnassah is very real for a lot of people. That side of Parnassah, it's the hishtadlus, it's the very much working hard, there's no break. And there is a truth to that. I would say there is a truth to that. We have Mesilas Yesharim in chapter 6, B'zrizus, the ability to translate intention into deed and be that activist. I get that, and I think we all get that. That's not necessarily where the full story lays, though. There's this other story which is being present, which is having the ability to count our blessings, having the ability to be present and really enjoy what you have. And this really breaks down to something more fundamental, which is very much seen here, which really is in the world of earning Parnassah. You've got the human doing and you've got the human being. The human being is present, full of gratitude, notes their portion. The human doing is an activist, measured accomplishment and achievement. It's tangible doings. There's metrics. And we for sure need both. We for sure need both. We can't have one without the other. Now, what happens is that a lot of the time, people are in one world more than the other world. And our wanting is to try and create a fusion. Or, as always, we speak about this constantly. It's embracing the matter, the physical world, as well, embracing the physicality. And this idea, I think, is an idea that really does need to be translated into action, actionable steps. So we've got the ayin. We've got the ayin where we want to consciously spend time planning and executing, planning and executing, but we have to spend time with the yashar, being present. And yashar is yidih, shmi, and re'iyah. So maybe just to wrap up for today, it's a shorter session, but this fusion, as Rabbi Nachman tells us in Torah Aleph Kaf Daled, that the fusion of being a human being and human doing brings around joy. So our end product is we could live with more fulfillment. When we can cultivate the ayin with the yashar, the ayin, the future, the activist, thinking out and doing, with the yashar. So you've got the, I'm planning something, I'm thinking about it, I'm present, I'm enjoying my blessings, and I'm an activist and I'm doing. When we confuse those three together, it hopefully adds up to a life of joy. So a couple of takeaways as we close up here. A couple of takeaways. How can we actualize this? So I would say there's three things that we would need to do. Number one is to do with the bookends of planning, that you can consciously say, I'm now going to be involved in ayin. And ayin, as we've spoken about before, we've got the 30, 80, 70, 80, whatever it is. But the fact is you spend time planning, but massive action. A lot more action than planning. And the ayin represents taking time to plan. The ayin represents being consciously deliberate about your planning. I'm now going to be in a space of planning. I'm now going to be in a place where I'm thinking about the future, like we said in Pirkei Avos, who is somebody who is wise, who can see what's being brought out into the world. And then you've got the actualization of it. And then we've got the yashar, which is deliberately spending time to be present, taking a breath. By the Jikafa, the Imrei Noam, he writes, yashar is yediyah, getting into a state of das. How do you get into a state of das? Yediyah, shmi, and re'iyah. Just listen and look around. Become present, look around. And Hashem is yashar. So this nakuda of being like Hashem, having the ability to be the activist, the ayin, and within the midst of activism to be present. And this nakuda of ashirut is something which is really, really important. So the question that was being asked, yes, it's true to say Parnassah and wealth is very much about hishtadlus, 100%. There needs to be a tremendous amount of hishtadlus, doing the typical things that we need to do in order to bring around Parnassah and wealth. And within that, within the same breath of the ayin of ashir, you've got the yashar of ashir, being present, having the ability to constantly take time to find those moments where you can take a breath and you can enjoy the good things that you have, whether that's a Shabbos, if you have time on a Shabbos to do that. Some people have time on a Shabbos to really be present and enjoy and what they have. Could be during the week. I have spaces during the week, Baruch Hashem, Shabbos I'm with my family. I don't have time to be present with the things that I'm doing with my family, trying to see and hear them and be with them. So I have, in the morning I take some moments to do hisbaidadus. And part of my avoidance is gratitude. It could be as I get to work, to take a few moments and just to breathe at the table. Ayin, yashar, ashir, you can even meditate on it. And this is something very important to think about. The activist can only really be a fully fledged activist when they can as well be present. The human being can only be a human being when there's a human doingness, and the human doingness can only be a human doingness when there is a human beingness. So when we're speaking about the word yashar, when we're speaking about this inyan of yashar, we've got the wisdom of seeing what's going to be brought out in the world, the ayin, seeing what could be brought out to do with planning. Then we've got the inyan of ayin, of action, having measurable steps, the nakuda of having those measurable steps to bring around, only in conjunction with presence. So what it looks like is I plan, I have those times to be present, and then when I'm an activist, I'm not going to be burnt out. When I'm going for something, when I'm an activist, when I'm doing, I'm not going to be burnt out. If I lack the planning or if I lack the presence, a person could be burnt out. So this wisdom of the etymology of the word ashir, the ayin, wisdom, again, the ability to see what's going to be and to plan out, and then yashar, I'm present, bring them together. When I'm an activist, it's Baruch Hashem, very, very, very powerful. And really the Metzias is ayin, ashir, shir is as well song. So when I can create this loop, I can call out through my Parnassah, through what I do, I can call out my own song, I can sing my own song. So Be'ezras Hashem, may we really embrace the ayin of planning, may we really embrace the yashar of presence, being the human doing, being the human being in context with each other, and may everything that we do bring around the ability, because now I'm this merkava, I'm this vessel, bring around tremendous ashirut. May we all experience bracha, may we all experience mazel and hatzlacha in what we do, and may we have be'ezras Hashem chizuk at work. Cultivating, and God bless.
Recording stopped.